All right, 3x pitch BioMetrics of Austen from the 3x Velocity camp. Take him through his delivery. Looking at hip positions coming out of leg lift. So you can see good external rotation on the drive leg. And the abduction, let's say the abduction is thrown off because the hip is in that backward tilt. So if I look at pelvis position, we can see pelvis side bend, or actually forward bend is back 18 degrees. So loading, not much loading, really posterior chain, rolling the back. So it'd kind of be like, this is a point of squatting in the delivery, and it'd be like rolling your back in a squat. It's not going to load the posterior chain well, which is what we need to do here because it's that stretch shortening, specifically of that hip. So it's like, look at your hip flexion. It's saying 22 hip flexion. If your hip was wasn't, your back wasn't rolling, your hips were more flexed, I mean, you could probably be at 40 at this point. So posterior strength would help support that, not letting your back roll, letting your butt kind of push out. But good position otherwise. I like where you are. Trunk might be back a little too far. Getting that a little bit more neutral would be better, or just slightly back. Okay, and if we look at ankle position and knees at 61 degrees, so decent flexion. Ankles at 28, so a good dorsiflexion, really good dorsiflexion there. All right, then we'll see you come out of the drive. See how we sequence this. The front foot. Okay, so you can see sequencing is not separating well. The red is the hips, the green is the trunk, the blue is the glove side. So they're all kind of going together. So not much drive coming out of the back leg. I think you're attempting to drive, but not a lot of drive. I like the timing to your arm cocking, but you can see the trunk is rotating while your arm's trying to come up, and it's causing the problem. So if we could, to create more separation, we'll look at hip line to shoulder lines. Okay, you can see you have some separation here, but in going into your drive, it's that shoulder line's trying to catch up really quickly. So if you were going into your drive as your arm's cocking and your shoulder line was staying back or counter rotating, that'd be ideal. And that's just a product of power. We're not getting out of the back leg quick enough. And I mean, if we go back to the kinematic sequence, we can see your hip speeds at 600 and your pelvis going to 800. We want to see something like 800 in the pelvis to like 1200 in the trunk. So just not enough speed to help really pull things apart. But the timing here of your back leg internal rotation to your arm horizontal abduction, which is your arm cocking, that's your elbow going back, is perfect. Like you time those together really well. If I can slow it down, it's kind of freaking, there we go. You can see your arms coming up as your knee is going down. Okay, and that's good timing. It's just not separating. That's the key. We got to get them to separate. Just clear my tools here. Okay, and then in front foot, you can see your hips are a little late. Front foot, you still have some separation, about 20 degrees. Ideally, we want something like 40 to 45. That's the right blue check. And your hips are, probably 45, 50 degrees at that point. I mean, I wouldn't say that's too bad, but they're just too slow after that, so not enough force behind them. And then by the time your arm gets into layback, you're keeping your momentum going, but it's just not separated, so the trunk isn't really accelerating. So your forward trunk's at 18, which isn't bad. And you've got a contralateral tilt of, let's see what your contralateral tilt is. Actually, I was looking at your pelvis. So your forward trunk was 31, which is good. Your contralateral tilt is 34. So you're going too far to your glove side. We don't want to go past 25 degrees. So it could be because of the lack of hip to shoulder separation, you just kept pulling off to your glove side, and then you went a little excessive. Also, too, looks like you're landing open. You're landing in an open front foot position, so you're pulling your glove side down really hard to try to balance up over an open position. So this front leg needs to be a little more across your body, and then you won't be trying to pull so far to your glove side. But at the same time, too, if you don't have a lot of drive, you can have a lot of swing, and that's what's going on. You're just kind of your front leg swinging open too far because your back leg's not driving through. And then to pitch release, I like how your trunk keeps going. It just keeps wanting to rotate a little bit more. So you keep your forward momentum really well. It's just you don't separate it well. So the key is going to be you trying to improve this kinematic sequence to where we can get the hip and trunk speeds considerably apart. So like if that's the red hip, I'd like to get that up by the green dot and put the green dot over by the yellow dot. If we could do that, that would be ideal. And that would just represent that you are driving your hips well ahead of your trunk, and your trunk would delay and have a lot more energy, and then even your front leg could start driving as well. I think those would be key improvements for you.